Hello everyone. In the previous 11 lessons, we mainly discussed interface layout and some common device interfaces. In the last few lessons, we will focus on interface animation design. Please listen carefully and take good notes.
Firstly, what is the necessity of animation design? Firstly, it can enhance the user experience, which is crucial. If designers only focus on presenting static pixels and neglect the proper expression of dynamic transitions, users may not visually perceive the continuous changes in elements, making it difficult for them to have a clear perception of the transition between old and new states. Disney animator Netwick said, "Animation is all about timing and spacing. Through the design of timing and spacing, we establish the credibility of motion for users, creating a sense of visual realism. When users realize that the animation is rational, they can use the product more clearly and enjoyably." Secondly, interface animations can add personality to a product. A product without animations can give a dull and lifeless impression. It becomes a flat and monotonous experience. Even if the interface design is visually appealing, it lacks a sense of liveliness and delicacy. If we compare the product to a beautiful woman, the visual interface would be her appearance, while the interactive animations would be her body language. Proper animations can deliver information in a more three-dimensional and interconnected manner, enhancing the product's expressiveness, increasing affinity and entertainment value, and facilitating brand building. Thirdly, interface animations can create advantages for designers and reduce communication costs. Designers can showcase their design concepts and ideas through high-fidelity animated demos, significantly improving the success rate of design proposals and reducing communication costs with developers. It also increases the accuracy of reproducing animations, demonstrating professionalism. Additionally, interface animations help build core competencies. In an increasingly saturated UI design industry, where product design processes are becoming more systematic and modular, designers who only rely on the repetitive use of components to assemble pages without delivering additional value are more likely to be replaced. Next, let's talk about some of the most commonly used gestures to help you create animations. First, touch, the moment the target is selected, which is equivalent to a mouse click. This is the most commonly used gesture. Let's take a look at some examples of touch animation. We usually represent the finger with a dot, similar to the cursor of a mouse. The color of this dot can vary, but to maintain the overall interface appearance, it is usually transparent. When we create animations for each page, we always include a touch animation. When designing, it is important to ensure that the selection state is complete, and through the touch animation, indicate where has been pressed and what will happen when it is pressed. There is a similar gesture called light tap. The difference between light tap and touch is that light tap involves quickly and gently tapping and then removing the finger, so it is faster in terms of speed. You can observe the difference between light tap and touch by looking at the cursor of this dot. The blinking frequency is noticeably faster. Use your imagination to think about scenarios where we might use the light tap gesture. Let's look at a few more examples. For instance, we use the light tap gesture when entering a destination, username, password, or anytime we need to type something or when using a calculator on a mobile phone. The third gesture animation is slide, which is one of the most commonly used gestures apart from touch. Slide refers to the action of pressing and moving the finger on the screen to make the target follow the movement. A slide can be done horizontally or vertically. Let's first look at an example of the vertical slide. This animation example is beautifully executed by incorporating two different speeds. When you slide down while watching, the speed is normal, but when you slide back up after finishing, the speed is faster. This change in speed makes the animation appear more realistic. When implementing the slide animation, the cursor dot should still exhibit animation based on the gesture. For example, in this particular case, a gradient color is used to indicate the slide gesture. In the adjacent example, although there is no cursor, we can see that the progress bar moves down in sync with the slide gesture. And pay attention to this example, where the gesture animation is emphasized more prominently. The cursor undergoes specific deformations to represent the horizontal and vertical slide actions, making the gesture animation more noticeable.
Next, let's look at some examples where horizontal and vertical slide animation are combined.
In fact, when using an app, it is quite common to have both horizontal and vertical slide directions on the same page. So when designing, don't limit yourself to having only one direction per page. Instead, try to design based on the content of the page and simulate the feeling of real-world interactions as much as possible. For example, in this image, you can slide left and right to view different images and slide up and down to read detailed descriptions. Another type of slide combines content with gestures. For example, in this image, slide left indicates like, slide right indicates dislike, and slide down indicates bookmark. This greatly enhances the user's sense of control. Now let's take a look at two examples that combine slide with touch. Another gesture similar to slide is press and slide, which refers to the action of pressing and sliding the finger on the screen without lifting it. A typical use case for this gesture is when we need to refresh, where the refresh action involves a press and slide motion. For today's homework exercise, everyone should design a refreshing animation. Design loading animation in combination with the bronze visual identity. This animation should not only help reduce waiting time, but also reinforce the bronze perception. There are numerous styles for refreshing animations. You can utilize abstract shapes such as commonly used circular rings or dots to design them. Additionally, you can incorporate relevant content specific to the brand for the refresh animation. Some designs even include storytelling elements, greatly enhancing the sense of fun. In addition to refreshing, there are other scenarios where the press and slide gesture is commonly used. In list style designs, we often use the press and slide gesture to delete or bookmark information. I will show you some examples so that you can understand what it means. Whether in a calendar or information interface, we usually employ the press and slide gesture by sliding left. This action triggers functional buttons for editing and deleting. This page combines both press and slide gesture with tap in terms of interface animation. On this page, if you continuously press and slide to the right, you can bookmark the content. If you continue to press and slide to the right, you can download it. And if you further press and slide to the right, you can delete it. The effect of the press and slide gesture is quite evident in this example. Moreover, there are other instances of the press and slide gesture in this case. I believe you know the first one. The other one is that you can use the press and slide gesture to select days by sliding up and down. Lastly, let me show you a comprehensive example that includes both slide and press and slide gestures.
Well, everybody, that's all for this lesson.
We have devoted a significant amount of time to graphic design in the early stages, and now it's time to bring those beautiful designs to life. For your homework, you need to 1. Select page content to create a slide animation, horizontal and vertical combined. The animation should be at least 10 seconds long, showcasing the entire page. rather than focusing on specific elements. 2. Select page content to create 2 touch plus slide animations and 1 touch plus press and slide animation. Each animation should be at least 10 seconds long. 3. Create a refreshing loading animation that aligns with the brand's visual identity. The loading animation should be at least 4 seconds long.